and welcome back to Cacho On, a Game Center CX podcast.
Yerp.
My name is Sam, and with me, as always, is my co-host Jackson. No middle initial, and then last name Jackson as well. He was just telling me before we started recording how many black friends he has. Jackson, you were about to put a number on it. Can you finish that thought for me?
The number ends in a digit. And it starts with a digit as well.
You don't have any black friends, do you, Jackson?
That's not true.
That's okay.
We can't start the episode like that.
I only have black friends, so it evens out.
What am I?
Are you asking me if you're black?
Yeah, I guess so.
The groove is in the heart, brother. Okay, you got to search inside yourself for that.
All right.
Also, no.
I'll South Park Stick of Truth slider myself.
This bit mainly only works if you know that Jackson is the whitest kid on the block.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, it works better. Oh, you mean that you're the whitest kid?
Yeah. I can't believe you started this episode with that bit.
I was rehearsing it the whole way here.
Okay. Do you always come with these little jokes?
Some of them are on the fly.
Really? That's impressive.
The Wu-Tang one from a few episodes back, that was just...
Don't even remember.
Old Dirty Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did you hear there's a new Wu-Tang game?
Yes. Yes, I did. I'm very excited, actually.
That's cool. Is it coming to the Switch too?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Too much going on with video games lately. Switch 2 just came out. There was the Xbox showcase.
Didn't watch it all.
Everything was brown.
What even was on the Xbox showcase?
A bunch of stuff, and also Final Fantasy.
Oh, Persona.
And Persona.
Yeah. Wait, what was the final? Oh, the Tactics remake.
What if that was on there too? I didn't.
Or no,
watch
I think they're coming out with
it's
that.
It's just that Final Fantasy. I think the 7 remake is coming to Xbox.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
About time.
My wife came in the room the other night. I just remember this. I totally blanked on it because I was in the middle of probably fucking Mario Kart or something. Well, that's nice, dear. She came in the room and she said they're making a portable Xbox.
Oh, it's like a Asus collaborative handheld device.
An Xbox deck.
It's like the AROG. Do you know what the AROG Ally is?
Yeah.
It's that, but Xbox branded.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much what it is.
All right. I thought for like 2 seconds, I need to follow up on this, but
I really don't know why it was needed. I mean,
why? What was needed?
The device.
Oh no! I literally thought, who is this for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that the entire PC so you know the Nintendo Switch, the first one, sold 130 million units or something.
Sure. Okay.
That's among all versions.
I believe you.
Yeah. And I think the entire PC handheld market, which is the stuff third-party stuff like Asus, AROG Ally, Steam Deck included, all that stuff is 4 million total.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know who's gonna be buying this.
Yeah.
I just really feel like Xbox needs to drop out of the console market.
Simultaneously,
what are they getting?
I felt awesome when they announced that their whole console exclusives is not important to us. That whole push,
Yeah.
I was very excited about
PC.
that as somebody who doesn't play Xbox.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against Xbox. As a teen, my 360 was very dear to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I'm also kind of sad because I'm like, this is the end of Xbox.
Yeah.
This. They're going to point back to this and say this is where the decline,
exactly,
or at least the steep decline started.
I was gonna say, I feel like you can track the stock market red line down of the Xbox, the Xbox One coming out, just a straight line down and then a little hill when Halo 5 was announced. Then that game sucked, so it's just been constantly down since then.
Did I play Halo 5?
It sucks, man. You fight robots.
The question in my mind was I was gonna ask, is that the one where you go to a different planet?
Are there weird guys with guns and aliens in this?
I think I played Halo 4. I think that was the last one I played.
That one's boring to me.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's fine. I think it had the. I think it was coming after Halo 3
And Reach.
and Reach.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Anyway,
And ODST. Just kidding. I love
ODST is pretty cool.
I loved ODST,
Yeah.
but you don't see anybody out there with ODST shirts.
I never had it.
You still see people with like Halo 3.
yeah,
or Halo
3
2
with
shirts.
the ring around
Yeah.
it. Dude, whoever designed that ring that makes up the O,
Finish the fight.
whoever invented that like little ring that's like the O in Halo is a genius.
right.
It's such a good drawing or whatever.
Yeah.
Good logo. Anyway, enough Xbox talk. We're talking about Solomon's Key.
How many minutes are we in that we haven't even begun to discuss? what we're
Almost
here to
6.
discuss? Incredible. That's absolutely a new record by far. Not even
Yeah.
close.
And people loved it.
They're eating it up. All right, go on. What are we here for?
All right, we're talking about season 2, episode 6, as translated by TV Nihon of Game Center CX, in which Areno takes on the fierce challenge of Solomon's
Let's say Solomon.
Solomon's
I've never
Key.
heard Solomon.
I was just doubting myself.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
It is a Tecmo game, classic old school style developer. I don't know any. I mean, they're just kind of a name that kind of sits in your mind, and
When
like
I
what
think
they
of them,
make.
I think of like old classic arcade games. But gun to my head could not tell you, and I don't want to have the gun to my head conversation
Yeah.
again. Okay.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you what they made. Well, one title now, I guess.
I can tell you another one.
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl.
Yo.
Remember Tecmo Bowl?
I'm getting shot before you.
This game was released in 1986. It's a puzzle game, kind of puzzle action, especially in the later part of the game.
Yeah.
And it had a sequel.
It did.
Yeah. Or sorry, a prequel, but it's called Solomon's Key 2.
Was it Grimdark?
I don't know.
Did-
I didn't know this until I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now
Oh,
that I
okay.
pulled up for this episode.
Excellent.
It was released in 1992 for the NES, which is for those who don't know, the Super Nintendo, the successor console, came out in '91.
I was going to say, they're still making NES games in 92?
Yeah, which doesn't really surprise me, but it feels like you've had a year. I feel like you're past the kind of
Come on, Solomon.
you're past the grace period.
Yeah.
But I'm also reading here. There's a PC version that was called Zipang.
Zapang.
Zipang.
Wow.
Which is, I guess, the sound that him placing a block or a
Oh, I could see that.
or a foothold,
Yeah.
as we'll get to later.
Uh-huh.
And also, there's a Game Boy version that's called Solomon's Club. It was Virtual Console 2006, 3DS, Wii U had it.
I was going to say, I think you can play this on the Switch.
Yeah,
I think it's
Nintendo
on
Classics.
the-
I
yeah.
want to play it. I kind of want to play it.
Yeah.
I probably won't.
I think I'll probably, I think I might. I dug out my Switch NES controllers recently. They're getting charged.
Nice.
I'll probably play it and I'll stop at a certain point. I have no desire to complete this.
Yeah. Do you think you'll play any of the GameCube games? Have you yet?
I ordered a controller today.
Nice.
They were out of stock. They're back in stock if you want to get one.
I have the wired ones for Smash Bros. Those
Oh,
are
I
good
mean,
enough for me.
hey,
Yeah. I might play original Wind Waker. I've only ever played the HD one. But anyway, so now that we have the game out of the way, we're starting the episode, which starts with Areno confidently. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained today.
No, you're good. Sorry. Me too, actually. Well, let's describe what the game is, I guess.
Right.
So, you're just little guy, Solomon. He's some type
cute.
of wizard-esque guy.
He looks kind of like
Be
a
a
Final
lesser
Fantasy mage.
Yes, yeah, he does. And his whole thing is he can make blocks, not blocks, footholds, excuse me. He can make footholds that look like blocks and act like blocks in every other respect.
Yeah.
Appear and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
The zipang of his wand.
Exactly.
He has to use this to collect a key and
Subsequently.
subsequently
Uh-huh.
and then exit through a door.
Yeah.
And there are 50 levels in this game.
Which the whole grabbing the key mechanic, at least what was shown in this episode, really only is used cleverly in one stage,
There's only one that I can think of. Yeah.
which we'll get to.
Yeah.
That stage, man. Yeah, it starts with Reno saying he likes puzzle games.
So right off the top, I had a prediction for this
Oh,
episode.
okay.
I just wrote good episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great episode.
Prediction predilected. you
Maybe
know?
my favorite episode, honestly.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
I, for a little inside baseball, I started this episode this morning before I had to go to work, and I guess I overestimated or underestimated the length of the episode, so I left. I had to leave with 20 minutes left, but the first 30 minutes really blasted by. I was like, what? Oh my god!
Yeah.
It was really, really like well edited.
I agree. And it's a different kind of scenario that we've never seen Reno in before. To be honest, it's he's great at puzzle games, and
Yeah.
this is the first time we really get to see him shine in his element.
Yeah.
He's blowing through it.
I think there's been a steady like incline in quality of episode editing as we've gone. Because I'm thinking back to
agree.
Metroid, and that episode was really like boom, boom, boom too.
I think it has to do with the kind of game too.
Yeah,
Editing a game like, well, not editing the game, but editing an episode like Metroid, sprawling, map, not non-linear mostly, and then editing an episode like Solomon's Key where it's just levels 1 through 50.
yeah.
I think that plays a factor here.
But I feel like even the type of game this is kind of similar to something like Mystery of Atlantis, just that it's X number of levels.
Okay,
There's
yeah.
different routes, but I still feel like those first two episodes they dragged.
Yes.
They dragged really badly. They were really a push to get through. But at this point, they're really hitting their stride, and they're really only hitting the big moments.
Yes.
And they're really like spacing out the supplementary segments really, really well.
I agree. Yeah, they're really hitting their stride here.
If I would say if you're gonna start this show, start probably from Metroid.
I can't disagree with that. There's no.
And then maybe feel free to go back. But
Yeah.
I'd say to get a good picture of the show.
I guess we're doing that with season 1. And I think that was part of the reason I fell in love with this series when it came over as Retro Game Master with the English.
That is when you
subs.
first saw it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They picked out some quality episodes. Solomon's Key might have been one of them.
One of 4 people to ever watch that.
Right? Yeah.
They did pick out Solomon's Key.
They did?
No, I'm asking you.
I believe they did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What else was there?
Ninja Gaiden.
Okay.
I think that Kirby golf game.
Oh, Kirby's Dream Course?
Yeah.
He plays that?
Yeah.
I love that game. Dude, I used to be goated at that game.
I'm trying to remember if Ultraman was one of them.
Ultraman. Is it an Ultraman game?
Yeah. That's a very big episode
Really? Okay. I'm
for
excited.
reasons I don't want to get into right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
Anyway.
These are all very Googleable things. We don't have to be talking about
Yeah.
this. Yeah. The episode starts, and it's a Reno's challenge. Psych, we're in a staircase.
Yeah, it really is weird. It starts with the Reno saying he's comfortable with puzzle games. Boom, different
Yeah,
thing
here
now.
Here we go. We're at a book signing for this book that they try and sell to us once an episode.
And it's worked. We really want to buy it.
I wrote down, buy this book tonight. I bet I got to do it. What? Reno's here. He's at the top of this extremely long staircase.
Very weird.
Inside the staircase, and this has got to be a fire code violation, there are 300 people. And he just kept them all waiting on the stairs.
They really tucked him out. It looks like kind of a hidden nook in like a library.
Right, yeah.
Go do your signing up there. But they kind of some passing shots of the people in the line kind of cheering as they see the camera. It's all very exciting. And I noticed some people were playing the DS in the line. The very original DS. And I realized, this episode is from 2003 or 2004. This is when that came out. This is when it was brand new.
Yeah.
People were playing What? What even came? What was out in 2004?
Dragon Quest, I guess.
Yeah.
As we learn later.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where Reno, he's thinking about other games he actually wants to be playing right now. He's like, after this, I'm gonna play Dragon Quest on my DS.
Yes. And a little subtitle DS comes up. When did you get a DS?
Oh, I don't know that I ever got a proper DS.
What?
I think I went from Game Boy Advance to 3DS, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
You skipped the DS?
Yeah.
Wow.
I grew up pretty poor. That I had a Game Boy Advance was a minor miracle.
I think I got a DS the Christmas that New Super Mario Bros. Came out.
Nice.
So that was like my first game for it.
Yeah.
So I was not, because I was too young. Because I think it was 3 when I got it.
All right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait. Yeah.
The
you're
DS
young
came
as
out the
hell.
year I
keep
was born,
forgetting.
or
What
like the year after I was born. Yeah. I think that was the first
I love
system I
that
owned.
for you. They're like, this is. God.
I must have been older than that.
I understand you now. I feel like I understand why you are the person you are.
I'm pretty sure I must have been older than that because there's no way I could put. Because I remember immediately like putting Mario in and like locking in.
Okay.
And there's no way I was doing that at 3 years old. I'm pretty sure I got New Super Mario Bros. Because that game came out in 2006. That was my first game, but it has to be some years after it came out.
All right.
But still, that is funny. To imagine 3 years old, hands can barely fit on the.
Oh my God. I'm
DS.
picturing one of my kids just turned 4.
Dude, giving him a DS.
I'm scared to let him hold controllers,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Areno signs the books. He exchanged gift cards. He receives a few presents from his
Gift
fans. Business cards. Excuse me. And that was kind of touching, seeing even this early on, there's really dedicated fans
Yeah.
of this show.
I mean, and yeah, people were giving him gifts. People gave him specifically adult cooling pads.
Right, yeah.
I really want to just order some of those cooling pads.
I know. I gotta know, man. I'm always running hot.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
I realized today I'm like an insanely easy sweater.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Today you realize that?
Well, today it really occurred to me how easy.
I'm not saying you should have realized it previously. I'm saying that's a weird coincidence.
I think I really, I don't know. I just really put in this perspective today. I was walking around outside at my job, and it wasn't even that hot. It was like 65, but what it can be cold, but if the sun's hitting you, it still can make you hot.
Right.
And I was like sweating, and I was feeling the kind of sweat on my back and like on my forehead for sure. And I passed someone else who was walking outside and just nothing. They had a jacket on, and I'm like, we're different species.
Yeah, we're in the minority, most definitely. My whole family complains about how low I keep the AC, but
How low?
yeah.
Oh, low in temperature.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to the game.
Man, we're having trouble focusing today.
I noticed a very funny thing about this book signing is Sasano is just standing up, chilling next to Reno. He's just there. He's his bodyguard.
Yeah.
It's really how it's posed.
I'd rather have Abe.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was probably there too. He just had a job to do.
Yeah. You really... Oh, no. Yeah, Abe is there. He probably was holding the camera that was looking at all the people in line.
Exactly.
That's probably why they were cheering. They saw Abe from his one appearance so far when he was playing Hang On.
There's definitely a point later on, and I think you've seen this actually in one of the episodes I showed you to try and sell you on this podcast, where Areno goes to a Game Center CX event, and there's people cheering for like Abe. And Abe, I don't know if Abe's there or not. Arena's just like, what?
People love Abe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we finally get to the challenge proper. Areno's got confidence out the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he knows he's going to have a great time. He's going to have an easy time. If that comes true or not, it's not for me to say right now. But at least for the majority of the first half of this game, maybe even more, he's got incredible skill and instinct out the wazoo. You know? His creativity is unstoppable. He does the first 10 rooms in 30 minutes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's not that not even that they look particularly hard, but that's a pretty quick pace.
Yeah.
These rooms are pretty sizable. I'd say they're all like just perfectly 2D, like just square tiles. Everything fits in a square tile. I'd say Solomon is probably like 1/64th of the screen.
Yeah.
He doesn't move particularly fast. So, average 3 minutes per room is really strong.
Yeah. He's got to figure that out and execute it.
Yeah.
And there are enemies in there that will kill you. Things like Sparkball, which is actually the only enemy name I wrote down, apparently. But
I remember Blue Burn,
Blue Burn, that was a good one. Yeah.
Salamander.
Lil Devil, was that one?
No, I think that's from a different game. All I remember Goblin, Blue Burn, Salamander, and Sparkball.
Well, these things will kill him.
Is Sparkball a thing in Smash Bros?
Oh my god, is that where it's from?
I don't know if that's where it's from because this one has eyes in Smash Bros. Little thing that wraps around the stage.
I think it's from Mario or Kirby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it acts exactly the same.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about these first 10 rooms. I don't know if you have anything.
I have just one thing, and it is that they really use this phrase a lot. Starting here, they say major point. They say like, knowing when to place footholds is a major point for beating this. And you can kind of hear, obviously we're reading the subtitles and we're kind of, to a degree, kind of phasing out the voice, the Japanese voice. At least I am, because I'm not listening and reading to everything he's saying. But I hear him say major point in English, like a loan word.
Really?
Yeah. The footholds are a major point for beating this.
I was going to say, I'm listening. So what I was going to say was I am listening a little bit because I do know a little bit of Japanese and I'm still studying it. And I like to hear them speak and then use the words I do know and how they interact with other words. And I do learn new things, actually.
Yeah.
But apparently I can't say that because I didn't hear this major point even one damn time.
And they say it a lot as the
Really?
episode goes on, yeah. Yeah, and in the subtitles at least. Major point.
Major point.
Yeah. Very odd.
Huh.
Another weird loan thing coming up too.
Interesting.
But that's all I have for the first 10 rooms.
Areno finally does run into an obstacle. I believe it's an enemy. It's so minor, it doesn't even matter. He gets.
Oh, sorry, I do actually have something for these
yeah,
first
yeah,
10 rooms. The narrator what's the phrase I'm looking for? He continues this kind of running bit of very subtly roasting Areno.
I was gonna say that. That's the vibe I got too.
Which is, he says, as he's progressing, they just show a short clip of Areno playing the game. And he says, using basic techniques, Areno is able to clear the rooms. It's like, okay. He's doing it, though.
Yeah, man, come on.
He did it in 30 minutes.
Hype him up. This is really good for him.
He beat 20% of the game in 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then what did you
He
have?
gets a game over, and Sasano runs in. Sasano, AD Sasano.
That man.
That man. That's a literal translation, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I can't get into it. Sasano, he comes in, and I think Areno gets a few game overs at this point, maybe. And he's like, oh, by the way, there's a continue function. You don't have to go back to level 1.
I think it was his first game over.
It was?
Yeah,
Okay.
which makes it very funny. That he immediately
They just want
charges in and...
They either forgot or wanted him to go back to the beginning at
Yeah.
least one time.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought he was just going to blow right through it too. Reno thought he was going to go home early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like he should have.
Yeah.
He kind of started slacking off later on.
Got too comfortable. Started snacking on too much squid.
Yeah.
All I have left before the game collection is that I love all these obscure enemy names, which I guess we already covered. So. But I was thinking, like, and we see this in past episodes, we'll see this in future episodes. There's all these games, and all these enemies have names. If I play Zelda, I could tell you what a Keese is.
Yeah.
I could tell you what a like is.
Well, sorry. It's a key. Keys is plural. At least in the first game.
No fucking
In the first game, they're called key. Like Key-E-Y. Sorry, K-E-Y.
Are we friends?
Yeah.
Do you want to see me have a good life, or do you want to see me suffer?
Whichever is funnier for me.
You blew my point up completely.
Okay, no, I get what you're saying. In later games, this is true.
Yeah, but it's cool to see all these lesser known games and really get into, what are these enemies?
Yeah.
What are they called?
That's like I know a lot of the Mario enemies too.
Yeah.
Like I really love the fact that even the little fireballs have a name. Circa like New Super Mario Bros. Onwards.
I used to know it.
Podoboo.
That's, yeah. I knew it was a Boba and not a Kiki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. I think it's practically a circle. But like Goombas and Pokies and
Yeah.
Beetle. Beetle. Aren't they called beetles? The little
I feel like that's-
blue, black, like
Right, with the hard shell.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the Goomba on like lap 2 of New Super or of Mario Bros.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Beetles. This seems too normal.
It does, yeah.
Anyway,
In a
I
world
do
of
have
goodness.
something before the game collection, which you said you didn't.
Go on.
Very weird thing. This is my only culture corner. Culture corner. That's the segment. Culture corner. And that is, Areno is trying something on this room that he's struggling with. Room 11, I guess.
Okay.
And he tries he switches the strategy. It doesn't work. I don't even remember what it was. But the narrator says this is also NG. NG is presented in the subtitles by capitals, and also his voice says NG. This is also NG. And the first thing my brain went to is no good, which would fit the situation. But I had to go back and Google this because that's just very weird. It's not brought up anytime else.
Okay.
And what I found is, I just looked up Japanese NG meaning. And what came up is a lot of stuff like, oh yeah, sometimes they'll just say NG and it means bad or forbidden, essentially no good. They just say that. Like NG as it is in English.
That's an interesting choice
Very,
for the translator. I feel like that's very Japanese specific, and that in English, an audience that is reading these subtitles isn't going to know that.
Yeah. The way I think that the subtitlers approach subtitling is sometimes you'll see like a tweet from a Japanese company or person and it'll be all Japanese, but sometimes one word will be in English.
Yeah.
To me, that's like their approach to translating, where they just take all the Japanese stuff and translate it, but leave the English stuff as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, actually.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
Because it also made us learn something.
True.
But that's just such a, not even in the context of this episode, just as a thing in their culture. Isn't that so strange?
NG.
NG.
Huh.
This is NG.
I wonder if that's Japanese culture at large, or if that's just like Japanese gaming culture.
I don't know.
Like
When
how we would say GG.
Yeah. My Google search was really, really quick, but nothing that I kind of skimmed really mentioned games.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fascinating.
Yeah. But game collection time.
Oh,
We put it on the heating pad before the game collection.
yeah, the
by
cooling
way.
pad?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Only time this episode.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't really sweating anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Which is weird that he did
not
here.
right now. Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was kind of a boring game collection.
Yeah.
There wasn't much that stuck out to me. The only one in this specific one, what was it? Namco?
Chemco.
Chemco. It was a Chemco game collection.
Never heard of him.
It's like Tecmo for me.
Yeah.
Only thing that stood out to me was Doughboy.
Sorry, as the announcer says, Dowboy,
Yeah.
the narrator.
Which I immediately wrote down in all caps, and then played it to find out that it's not.
You played
anywhere-
it?
Sorry, I continued to play the episode. To find out that Doughboy is nowhere near as cool looking or as funny as I had hoped it would be. It's some sort of top-down military.
Which makes sense. Doughboy was a term for British infantry in World War One.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Or no, for American infantry. That's what British called American infantry because they joined the war late, and all these kids were really eager, not really knowing what they were getting into.
I'm not laughing at that. That's inappropriate time to be laughing. No, I was thinking about it's, you know what, it's not funny anymore. Let's just move on. Okay. Do you have anything else in this game collection?
Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
Thought it was interesting. They made a Spy versus Spy game.
Yeah.
Besides that, in this collection and all the others for this episode, just completely utter snooze fest.
Honestly.
Couldn't.
There was one thing later that I'm gonna see tonight in my dreams, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm excited.
Okay. I'll save it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. All these games you couldn't pay me to play.
No.
Utterly crap.
Yeah.
But now it's Tamagay, which is
Tamagay,
awesome.
and it was a great one too. I actually do want to go to this game center one day. Yes.
More so than the others?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Not all the others. I think Tri-Tower.
Oh, yeah.
That was the coolest by far.
I really want to visit the one that I think was in a couple episodes ago, or maybe the last one. No, the one with the guy. No, it is Tri-Tower.
It is?
Where it's all the Astro cabs.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to go there. Yeah, so they went to Mekuman Game Center in the city or the town of Matsudoshi in the Chiba Prefecture. Mm-hmm. Which they kind of comment on the name in that Arino says, I don't know what this means, or why is it called that, he says.
Yeah, in the beginning, in the intro, it said, we're going to the game center with the weird name or something, too. I'm sure it is. I believe him. Whatever. Not that we would know.
Yeah. It's kind of fundamentally different in a very syllabic language like this, where I feel like it's tough to find an equivalent of just throwing syllables together in English.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
That's because, all of our sounds are different, seemingly at random.
Yeah.
I before E except after C, except for all the times that isn't true. Mm-hmm. Where if, in Japanese, for example, if that was a rule, that would be the rule.
Yeah.
And that's it. Mm-hmm.
And even, like, I bet that there's multiple ways to even derive meaning, quote unquote, from the name of this game center. Mm-hmm. Where sometimes, two syllables together will have a meaning, or every individual syllable will have a meaning.
Right.
So it's just, I'm curious what went through Areno's mind upon reading that.
Well, not much.
Yeah.
Some standouts here. Landing gear. I just like that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going to say.
It's a flight simulator with seemingly realistic controls. Areno plays it and proceeds to crash the plane and proceeds, it's a big disaster.
And they showed instant replay in third person.
You could not have aired this in America in 2004. is all I could think.
And it's funny you say realistic controls when all it is a joystick and a
Oh, I thought it was you know what I'm thinking of? I thought it was like
Danger Zone you're thinking of.
Is that with all the yen he kept putting in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll get to that. No, yeah, you're right. After that, what was it? Hang On Junior?
Yep, very funny.
A lot of hang on in this season
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I do like that they made a junior version of this. I wonder how much of a trend that was. We've got Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. I think there was a Pac-Man Jr.
I'm pretty sure.
There's a Donkey Kong Jr.
Donkey Kong Jr. Math.
Yeah. Hang On Junior.
Yeah, which from what I could tell just from watching the episode, this is the same game, except without the whole bike, and it's just the handlebars that a kid stands at.
Maybe, actually this might make more logical sense than Donkey Kong Jr. Math, for example. Maybe they needed a smaller bike.
I'm sure.
For the juniors.
I am picturing a specific time when we were at our local arcade, and I was kind of supervising your youngest, and he was on a bike game where...
Oh, he loves to get on that thing.
Where part of the core experience is it needs weight on the butt pad, the saddle of the bike, and he's too small to sit back enough on it.
I always got to reach in there and like press the gas pedal for him.
Yeah.
And there's this one that just shakes the hell out of you. And so
Yes. Wait, you're talking about the car game where you can spin?
Yes.
I'm talking about a motor.
I know which one you're talking about.
Okay.
But he does this he loves those racing games.
Yeah.
He cannot reach the pedals. Sometimes he can't see over the damn wheel.
Then he.
I don't think I wrote this next game down correctly. Is it really called Quartet? Is it Quartet? Is that what it was meant to be?
I don't remember this. What game?
It was like,
Is it before Danger Zone?
yes.
Oh.
It was like Gauntlet, except instead of top down and you could walk in the cardinal directions, it was more like, not a shoot 'em up exactly, because you could turn around and it was sort of, the screen was scrolling, but you and your friends were. You don't remember this one?
Not even in the slightest.
Oh my god! Well, I wrote down
How's
Quarted.
it spelled?
I don't know because I think I wrote it down wrong. I
Oh.
wrote down Quarted.
Like court, like basketball court?
No, like Quarted. Quarted even.
Like,
It's
I don't even know
probably-
what Gauntlet is.
It's probably Quartet. You know what Gauntlet is.
I don't.
I guarantee you know what Gauntlet is.
Maybe if I saw a picture.
It's this classic, the quintessential co-op game.
Gauntlet
You know,
arcade
a
game.
pioneer of co-op gaming. You play the wizard, the barbarian, the ranger, and the other. I don't remember.
I'm looking at pictures right now, and I don't think I've ever seen this in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Weird blind spot, I guess.
Yeah.
I
I love finding those.
Yeah.
It's like how everyone knew about this. What the fuck?
Yeah. I really want to go back and rewatch the Game Center segment because I really have no memory of Corded.
Okay. It's not even a big thing. I just literally all I was gonna remark was that it looked like Gauntlet.
Okay.
And so it's now, it reminded me of Gauntlet, and now it's become this whole thing like, what the fuck is Quarted?
Yeah.
Quarted, whatever. This is stupid. Tell me about Danger Zone, because this is a good bit.
Is apparently a very rare retro arcade game, which has two kind of wide apart like jet handles with like the triggers and the red buttons on the back. And the whole thing moves when you are moving these two handles in unison. They're
This is the controller I was thinking about.
they're joined by like an axle, and as you move it, the whole screen moves in parallel with it.
That's cool as hell.
It is cool, and he's excited to try it, but it appeared to not be working.
Right.
He would put in a yen, and and it would just nothing would happen on screen. He'd try pressing buttons.
Yeah.
But every time he put in, it was only 10 yen, which is 10 cents basically. Every time he would put in 10 yen, a voice in English says, "Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you." And after like 3 10 yen coins he put in, Reno would say, "No problem."
Yeah. I just kept like, if I put in a coin, if I put in something into an arcade machine, into a vending machine, into anything, and it's not working, I'm gonna try max one more time.
Yeah, me too.
Reno tried this 8.
Did he?
8
I didn't-
He put in 80 yen.
I didn't get that number, which
Yeah.
is still, to be fair, that's less than $1.
Yeah, I guess it's just, literal dimes, but
Yeah. And he kept saying, "No problem."
no, yeah.
But eventually he says, "Oh, there's a button," and he reaches down, and he's like trying not to laugh, and he comes back up, and he's holding like a button for clasping closed shut,
Insanely
like
good
a shirt button that has the 4 black holes where the yarn goes, and he's holding it up to the camera. There's a button.
Incredible dad humor.
It's very funny. Maybe his best joke in the series for me so far. Very funny.
I don't remember after that. He won some arcade game, and then, as he wants to do, he called over some poor.
Oh, the ninja shit. We didn't talk about the ninja.
Oh, the ninja thing.
Fucking hate that thing.
I don't know what the hell that was.
It was dog shit.
It was like the first thing he saw when he walked in. Is you put in the coin.
In fact, I don't even want to talk about it. You can feel free to, but I don't want to.
No, you know what?
I hate this.
You really.
It's not worth describing even. It's just so dog shit. And I can't even fault Areno for being bad at it.
Yeah, he only tried that one once.
Yeah.
Which should tell you something.
He was fed up.
He'll put 8 coins into a game that isn't working.
Yeah.
This game worked.
And he put
ostensibly.
$1.50 in this next game,
Yeah.
which he won something. What even was it?
I don't remember. He didn't like it, and as I was saying, as he is wont to do, he called over some poor worker there, and harassed him so he could get a different prize.
Yeah.
Mark-
I can't remember what even was the game.
I can't remember it either.
A lot of duds in this.
Yeah.
I did like this segment though a lot.
Mainly, I just wanted to go there.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like a cool place. It looked like a fun place.
Look comfortable.
Yeah. He got a can of squid sticks. His favorite.
Yeah,
snack.
he swapped whatever dinky prize
Right.
they gave him into some capsule. He said, "Can I get that instead?"
Yeah.
Which seems like a huge upgrade. It literally, I don't know, they handed him like a capsule or something with the original prize, and it literally looked like a kind of rolled up piece of plasticky paper in a capsule.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, if he got to upgrade to a glass bottle of squid sticks,
You know what? I wonder if the piece of paper said what prize it was.
oh, it's
He
like
walked
a voucher.
over to the case and just said, you know, actually, can I just get the squid instead?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Reno, I apologize for doubting you. I just will
Yeah.
never forget the way you harassed that old lady on the rooftop that one time.
The Obusan?
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
She seemed okay with it. But I remember when he got the squid, big text came on screen that said "Squid,
Squid
get."
get! Yeah, I wrote that down. Yeah. I was gonna say maybe they just let you do it if you're famous.
Yeah.
Like, which
If there's a camera following you around.
yeah.
Could you imagine having a camera on you, knowing it's going to be on Fuji TV,
Yeah.
and saying, "No, Reno,
Yeah.
you can't swap your prize." We might have to pick up the pace. We're at 41 minutes.
Oh God. Okay.
Versus baseball.
He was here to find ice climbers.
Oh yeah.
Which was an arcade game. Had an arcade port, or maybe it was an arcade game first. I'm not sure.
I think it was a port.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
There's so many in this episode and in at large that surprised me that there are arcade versions.
Yeah.
Sometimes the originals are in the arcade. You know, Castlevania.
I've told
for
you about that,
example.
right?
Yeah, it was you or I saw it in the Legacy collection because I was playing that a few months back. Contra, that's less surprising, obviously. Versus baseball.
Is that a NES game?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Please don't let me be wrong. I'm not gonna look it up.
Ice Climbers.
If I'm wrong,
Ghosts and Goblins. I
you
told you I
know,
played in an arcade.
Just leave a comment and I will send you a picture of me hanging from my closet.
I'll send you my address.
Yeah.
You can do what you like.
I've been thinking about just blurring it out.
Your address?
Yeah.
On what?
Because I want you to use a beep noise to beep it out. But it's here, like
We haven't said it. We haven't said it.
no, I've thought about just saying my address.
Oh, and then I bleep it and try not to forget.
Sure. Well, yeah, but like one, what if you forget? Two, what if you're like, okay, I'm not going to spend the extra time because you want to fuck around, Sam.
Yeah.
All right. Here,
Keep talking. I
here
left
you
my
go.
notepad
Here
over
you go,
here.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, try not to. I don't want to do more editing than I need to.
Okay.
I'm busy. And I'm busy talking about versus baseball.
Yeah.
He makes Sasano play with him.
Was that him?
Sasano?
Yeah, I paused and I looked really hard because he looked like an AD from a future season.
What? Really? Yeah, it was Sasano.
It was Asano? Okay.
I can't forget Sasano's
That's
face.
the more logical explanation. I'm just fucking tripping. I don't know.
Sasano's cute.
So he is cute.
Didn't your wife say that?
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Sasano, stop emailing my wife.
He's got to be like 50 now or something, or 40.
He's probably still cute. God damn it.
Anywho, do you have anything else on the arcade?
No, just that Ice Climbers played exactly the same as on the NES.
Except with a joystick, which I feel like has to be a pain.
I wonder. Yeah.
More sass from the king when we get back.
Yeah.
Areno, didn't you say you were good at puzzle games?
Not just the king, but then also the narrator, who has some. Didn't write the whole quote down, but he's surprised that Areno's progressing this quickly.
They're out to get him, man.
They are. Well, and I wrote a little bit about this later, but it's coming up here pretty well. I think it's in a game like this, or maybe in this series writ large, it's hard to create that narrative tension.
Yeah.
And somebody in the role of the narrator, in the role of the chorus, which ostensibly the king is in, somebody has to do that. Obviously, there's time constraints as well, and so we've got that man versus I don't remember all the classic. Is Time one? A Man versus World is one. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about yeah.
Yeah. So there's that as well, but it's just to really drive it home. We do need that kind of stuff, and in a game like this, they really have to try harder because Reno is succeeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're really going all in on him. Mm-hmm. And it's there's actually several points where the narrator will do this, like, can Reno, the stupid, stinky asshole, beat this level of this video game?
It was made for kids.
Yeah.
Specifically this one for 14-year-olds.
But then, Arena will immediately say, "Oh, I've got it," and then beat it.
Yeah.
Immediately after the narrator says that.
He's graced with moments of genius.
It's that exquisite pressure.
Yeah. It's his gun to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Egg on my face, I guess.
No, the term is gun on your face.
Yeah. Egg in my gun. And call it breakfast.
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah. Okay.
I skipped a little bit ahead. I want to go back to, he does get stuck at something.
Yep.
Level 30, level 23, level 30 something.
39.
And so just for, again, to stress how well he's doing, he's gone from, the first 30 levels were essentially nothing to him. And there are 50 levels in this game.
Yeah.
He is going to run into some stumbling blocks from here on out.
And unlike Mystery of Atlantis, this is actually 50 levels.
Yeah.
It's just all the way through. There's no
Right.
skips. There's no going back.
God, he really had no excuse for Mystery of Atlantis.
Areno didn't?
No. I mean, he completed that challenge, but just...
Quicker than this one.
it was?
In total
you're
time,
right.
yeah.
But still, it was 10 levels, effectively.
Yeah. Anyway, enough on a Mystery of Atlantis.
Reno gets stuck on something, and he stops and he thinks about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I wrote that. I pauses and plans his route on this level for 20 minutes.
What I would give to be a fly on the fucking wall.
I imagine the crew had to have. I bet it was a situation where at about maybe 5 minutes, all of them were individually thinking, "I gotta say something," and say, "You gotta start playing the game."
And then man appears.
Yeah. And I bet they all thought that and said, well, someone else will do it. For 15 more minutes,
Right.
pretty much. It's got to be rough in that room. But I also, during this segment where he's thinking it out, sorry, not segment, just a little
During this
moment. Yeah. They again say block placing. I don't remember if this is the word they use. It's just what I remember. Block placing is a major point.
Major point.
They say it again. Yeah. But I guess after he beat this stage, which he does after thinking. So I guess thinking works.
And I wrote down his solution was clever as hell. Again, whatever it was. Maybe we have to come up with a better system for taking notes.
I mean, we're kind of progressing as the episode progresses on. They really skip.
I don't know that it's necessary also, actually.
They skip like 90% of the rooms in the episode.
They do.
Which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
they try to create that tension where none exists. They're really pushing what little tension there already is.
Yeah.
And if we just had to watch the whole damn game, I mean, I'd just watch a long play.
Yeah.
I'd go and get on Twitch and watch somebody play it there.
You think someone's streaming Solomon's Key?
I don't, but it's
It's possible. But I was gonna say, I think this editing style for this episode specifically is a really good kind of representation of the brain space of these types of games. Where if you think back to puzzle games you played, when you think about it, are you thinking of every level or are you thinking of the hard ones?
True.
Yeah.
Hey, that's very true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Honestly. And I can remember the levels that he was stuck on pretty well. Absolutely.
But what I have next is that at 4.5 hours, he's on room 39.
Hey! Yay!
And I just wrote good pace. Mm-hmm. But then there's a moment where the announcer says, Reno uses all his brains, and there's a big caption on the screen. And then it cuts to Reno, and he says, oh, I see, I just have to jump over.
That was one of the moments, yeah.
Yeah. I just have to jump over this enemy. And he does it.
Yeah.
But on this room that he's stuck on his best attempt to beat it, I wrote that he forgot to grab the key.
Oh, that was so funny. I noticed it too.
Yeah. I was like,
am I missing something?
I was going to say, why did none of the crew say anything? They have to see it too.
Am I the problem?
You just not need a key?
Fuck, I was going to say something. No, it's gone. Moving on. He gets it. He moves on to levels 40, 41, 42, and I think he gets to 43, wherein Reno is assaulted by something unbelievable.
What? 43?
Yeah. Do you have something from before that?
I have something that I forgot to say early on, so I just want to say it really quick.
Yeah.
And it's that the way the little fairies that you can collect, the way they move seems really ahead of its time. They really only show it in one part, but Reno's standing on a block, and the fairy is like to the right of the block that he's standing on, and it's it's like the trajectory of the fairy is constantly flying towards his character.
Right.
But if it comes into contact with the block, it bounces off.
Yeah.
But it really bounces in a very naturalistic way.
Yeah.
And
And
like
Reno
bounces.
knows how to take advantage of this too, and he's carefully placing blocks
Yeah.
in anticipation of this, and then removing them selectively so the fairy flies into him.
It moves in like a way unlike any other thing in an NES game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, okay.
You reminded me what I was going to say, actually.
Oh, okay.
When Reno was just like, oh, I just got to jump over this thing. That seems simple. And, that's funny, obviously, especially after what the narrator said. But I think also that's the hallmark of a well-designed puzzle game, where the solution can sometimes be something so simple where you're overthinking it, not to a ridiculous degree, but you just, it gears you up for all of this.
Yeah.
And then the elegance of it passes you by until you sit with it for long enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably one of the reasons I'm going to try this out tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd like to experience that for myself.
It is. I mean, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's got a very nice looking too. Mm-hmm. It's all everything fits on the screen nicely. I bet there's probably tons of cool mods with custom levels.
That'd be cool.
It seems like a very good game to have like a maker of.
Solomon's Key.
Yeah.
What else do you have before 43?
Nothing.
So he reaches level 43, stage 43. Immediately he is assaulted by a spark ball, and a devil type creature, which apparently is not called Little Devil, flying over the spark ball. And they run at him, and he doesn't know how to block it, and he dies like 3 times.
Yeah.
Upon this...
That's probably only Arena Y.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Right?
try anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We learned that if you die after level 41, you will be sent back to level 41. And so Arena's continue trick does not work here. Will work no longer.
That's a big chunk of the game.
Yeah.
20% of the game you have to beat in one go.
Wait, 3 lives, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can get one up via the fairies, but
It's 10 fairies seems like a lot for a
that
one-up.
does because there's like one on every level.
Right,
maybe.
so maybe
Yeah.
you can't get a one.
Yeah, maybe not.
I wrote that this surprise, it was actually a welcome development, because before we have all this narrative tension, all we really have is anticipation.
Yeah.
When is the other shoe going to drop? Or is he really just going to climb this mountain effortlessly?
Yeah.
And the anticipation is good, and I think for that there was anticipation for this long. It's probably what made this episode one of the greats.
Yeah.
And then this drops, and all of a sudden we see Reno in a familiar environment.
And he says, "What? What?"
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I'd say this is just to paint a picture of the episode. This is level 43 out of 50. We're probably a little past the halfway point of the episode.
Yeah.
So he really buckles down for this part of the game. And he has a major roadblock that we're kind of nearing.
Yeah. All right. the narrator says that he says that he's failing upwards.
Yeah.
Did you catch that one?
Uh-huh.
Reno has succeeded by failing. And he's referring to the continue trick.
That's a good summary of Reno in general.
Reno brings up that, and I'm taking him at his word, if he doesn't leave by 10:30 p.m., he says it's at 9:30 p.m., he's not going to make it to his next gig. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like it has to be like a comedy show, right?
Shit, that makes sense.
At a club or something.
Maybe.
Sold out arena.
Or like a late night live show or something.
Oh yeah. Do they have those in Japan?
I'm sure.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
I want to see that actually.
I'd love to see the Japanese Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. I bet he's zany.
We see another infamous passing of the clock.
I love this clock,
I
man.
love it so much.
Pulling a whole probably 2 foot in diameter clock off the wall, handing it to Reno, specifically so the camera can't see. He holds it up to his face, reacts to it, then turns it around to show the camera the time.
I agree with Reno. I think it's funny that they told him after 10:30 had passed.
It's at 10:35, and he says, "Hey, tell me before it passes."
Exactly, yeah. There isn't much hullabaloo about it. It's just sort of implied that, okay, well, not a problem, we'll give you an extension.
Yeah.
Usually he has to either ask for something like that or it has to be granted upon him. No discussion was made of that.
Probably because they're all invested in this game.
Well, yeah. we can't let Arena
You gotta see
fail
it through,
this one.
yeah.
Come on.
But yeah, he just tosses on his jacket and his bag,
leaves,
and
yeah.
he says a funny line on his way out.
Yeah, it was funny. I forgot it.
He says, "Being popular really is a sin."
Oh yeah, how could I forget that?
Because he's so busy, I guess.
I want that on my tombstone. That's so good.
Shinya Arena. Being popular is a sin.
We cut to the second part of the Kemco game collection. The only note for which I have is that the Superman game they show off is technically the best Superman game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It is. It looks fun. It's a fun little platformer.
Little super deformed characters.
Yeah, tiny little chibi-esque Superman, Clark Kent.
Super deformed.
And there's no real potential for him to be, they get around that not omnipotent, but he's nigh omnipotent. He's Superman.
Yeah.
And, they get around that problem in game design by, how much power can this little guy have?
Yeah.
In this 2D side-scrolling platformer,
I want to say they note that the little super deformed versions, which did you know Akira Toriyama invented like super deformed?
Really?
Yeah. With cute little drawings of Godzilla monsters.
I'm not surprised, actually.
Which super deformed then became chibi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But anyway, they mentioned that these super deformed characters were designed by a manga artist, Ishii something. I forgot. I didn't write it down.
So weird.
But I looked this guy up. No, I think it's like Jun Ishikata or something. Anyway, I couldn't find anything that he made.
We're lucky. We're so lucky that we're the only people who want to do this podcast.
He has like a Wikipedia page,
You should know that.
and he was like a writer and like a critic, but I couldn't find that he made any manga or any drawings.
Interesting.
So like what? I also found that there's this also might be the same guy or a different guy, or for sure a different guy, but it might be the guy that worked on this game. A composer that did music for a lot of the Kirby games with the same name.
Really? Mm-hmm. They brought his name up specifically.
Yeah.
So the implication there is that he's somebody
Yeah.
that people know about. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just a language barrier thing.
Maybe. No one really got interested in him who's very online.
Maybe he was popular that year and only that year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, this more crap. There was a Spy vs. Spy sequel, didn't care.
Oh God, yeah. It's barely notable that somehow they made 2 of these.
They do also mention that they say it's based on an American magazine.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. They don't even say it by name.
That's me. It's me doing the Leo pose, pointing at the screen.
They don't even say Mad.
No, they
They
don't.
say, yep, it's a magazine.
Are they not allowed to say it?
Too scary of a name.
Yeah.
Mad. Ugh. With that weird guy on it, Alfred Newman. What's his name?
The president of Fuji TV would be on the air the next day apologizing.
What's that dude's name? Alfred E. Krumholtz?
It's not that. It's not.
It's not Alfred E. Newman, is it?
That sounds close.
We don't need to do this.
Mad Magazine. Who's that fucking redhead guy always looking at me and shit? Alfred E. Newman.
Whoa!
Yeah,
How did I pull that?
I'm actually more surprised that the thing I searched.
Yielded results.
Yo, the voice search
What?
censored my words.
F star 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 guy who's always looking at me and SH or S star star star.
Oh my god.
That's funny. We really got blast through here.
Okay. Well, what are we at?
We're at 1 hour.
Honestly, better than I expected. Okay.
Okay, enough of this game crap. We're done with this. The only interesting one happens at the third one.
Yeah. We cut back to the challenge. We see Areno, who is complaining because he's just woken up and they're making him play video games.
Yeah.
He looks
What
disheveled.
trouble.
He's complaining. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. But then
his hair's all messed up. He's got bags under his eyes.
that man is back.
That man is back.
Sasano-kun, they call him.
Yes.
Which, for those out of the know, kun is their Japanese has suffixes that you would apply to names, like there's san, kun, chan. Those are the big ones, I'd say.
It's spelled K-U-N, and I'm pointing that out because hearing you say this out loud,
Oh. Oh my god.
I just realized too. Yeah.
Yeah, but san you'd say it in like
It's
respect.
when you said it by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chan is like something cute. But kun is specifically what you'd say if it's like a kid.
If it's what, Jackson?
If it's a kid.
This is why
you're talking to a kid.
This is why you don't have any black friends,
So,
Jackson.
dude, you can't be doing this. This is not the show for this. This bit is we're done. We're an hour in. We can't bring
Okay.
this up.
What are they gonna do? Turn it off? You already listened to the whole episode, dummy.
Okay. But Sasano-kun, which is funny, they're saying, hey kids, Sasano, get in here.
Yeah.
They bring him to strategize. He does a lot of strategizing in this episode. But again, blocks.
I loved it. I loved when he comes in there and they're getting in it together.
Yeah.
You can tell they've got a chemistry.
The war room.
I think the best ADs have a real back and forth, a real chemistry, I guess,
Yeah.
with Areno. I love Sasano's strategy session, which is alliteration. I love his strat sesh, Sasano strat sesh. I love Areno's planning and dedication, using that whiteboard to its fullest extent. He's not just writing down passwords. He's making a whole...
Yeah, an insane full map of the entire screen.
Exactly.
Which had to have taken a long time to draw.
It had details.
Yeah. It was every block, especially later, or no, was 43 the one that's huge with all the blocks, or that later?
I think 43 was the one where it's actually mostly...
Oh,
empty?
there's like the little block gaps in the middle. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, so whiteboard appearance, he draws it, he gets past it, he jumps.
He jumps.
It's really, really painful, not even worth trying to describe how he beats it. Just know that he beats it. It's really quite complex.
We've talked a lot about the narrative tension and how they can build it in a show like this. And I think right here is a great example of that payoff, because all of that anticipation, all of that him blowing through 60% of the game, no problem, really 80% of the game, no problem. And then all these huge obstacles thrown at him right now. And then seeing him face it head on, it makes him an underdog. It makes us root for him. The best episodes make us want to root for Areno instead of just laugh at this stupid clown. You know what I mean?
32-year-old clown.
Yeah. They brought that up.
Age reveal.
That made me think some thoughts.
That he's 32? In 2004?
I'm close to that age.
Oh. Uh-huh.
I've never played Solomon.
That's not true.
Oh, that's not true. Yeah.
Get it together,
No, let's not get into weird things about age. I can have a midlife crisis off mic. Midlife.
Midlife.
Oh my God.
You're halfway there, man. He beat it.
He did.
And then 44 and 45 were easy.
Yeah.
Good job. 46, I will say, it looks tough. I wrote it down, it looks tough.
Was he stuck here for like a minute?
This is the huge one with the million blocks.
Oh, right. He stops for 20 minutes and thinks about it. Yeah.
Hella blue burns on this one.
Yeah. Then what the end result of this is he is stuck here for 2 hours,
Yeah.
which is just like a huge blow.
Yeah. Especially because
And at the perfect time too.
especially because every time that he gets really stuck, he's sent back to 41.
Right.
And has to beat 43 again. Mm-hmm. Which he can do, it's just tough. Because I think it takes him a half hour to get from 41 to 45. Or 46.
Right.
But he says at this point, he's looking forward to playing DS Dragon Quest between jobs.
There it is, yeah.
But at work, he has to play Solomon's Key. I want to play DS between my
know,
jobs, but
yeah.
at work, I got to play Solomon's Key.
Must be hard. Must be tough, Areno.
But then, enter that man again
Yes.
for his biggest moment.
Truly, AD MVP. I wrote
Yeah.
down Sasano has skills here. He really just kind of beats this level for Areno.
He asked his famous question.
Yes.
Can I get a life? Can I get one life?
Y'all down for one life?
And I know you said that like Terry Bogard.
Yeah, that's the joke.
okay. You're down for one more. No one will get that.
No.
I wrote here that the text that comes up when he asks for one life is really unique. It's black, very chunky Japanese text in pure rectangle orange highlight.
I don't remember that specifically.
And I think
but
this has to be a signifier that it's like this running joke.
Okay, yeah.
Like this is boom, this little line comes up every time this line gets said.
I think it's either that or it's something like it has actual weight to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like or rather they're trying to frame it that way. And maybe that is in a joking manner, but here comes the protege, the assistant, the pupil to the master. Please may I have one life. Let me prove my worth to you. Let me show you that what you're teaching me isn't going to waste. And again, this show thrives on that faux seriousness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you have a really valid point there.
I wrote that I was just really, really impressed by his playing.
Yeah.
Maybe more so, because every time Sasano goes on, he plays a game, and I always think, yeah, I can play like that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm probably at Sasano's level. But this, I mean, he was like, okay, yeah, he's a real one. I cannot do this.
Sasano will be the second loop of Ghosts and Goblins, right?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
Maybe I can do that. But just normally most of the little...
You got timer out to this? Your Switch 2 is right behind you. I want you to fire up Ghosts and Goblins.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I'm not. It's not like a gotcha moment. I just think it would be genuinely fun.
I want
to
to
watch
try
somebody
it.
play it for the first time. I wrote down that Areno, he gets stuck somewhere else. I am going to change how I take notes. I'm going to start separating it by levels or more detailed sections because this is not great. But at some point, Areno is stuck somewhere and he's doing something really boring.
This game specifically is hard.
Yeah.
The levels don't have a lot of unique visual identity.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says something kind of self-conscious, and that struck me as odd because he's not normally that way.
What did he say?
Something about how I bet a bunch of people are not watching the TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is the boring part. People are looking away.
It's when he's doing the whiteboard, right?
It may have been.
I think so.
Yeah. If that's true, he's wrong.
No, it's when he's
I read that
strategizing
bit.
and he's just thinking for 20 minutes, looking at the screen.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I bet no one's looking at the TV.
And to paraphrase a famous quote, if I had a nickel for every time Areno sat down and thought about something for 20 minutes straight, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I think it might even be 3 times in this episode.
Ooh.
He does a lot of sitting and thinking.
15 cents. All right.
I can put in 1 coin into Danger Zone.
Thank you.
But now it's Kemco time.
Kemco
Game collection.
time.
I don't even remember the first 2 games. Oh, I do remember one of them.
Wasn't one of them time travel or something?
It's a dungeon crawler. It's a dungeon crawler.
Oh, that one looked okay.
It did look okay.
Yeah. I think if I was alive when that came out. If that was like a modern game for me, I might play that.
Yeah. Probably give it a try.
Yeah.
But then Draken.
I don't remember Draken. Oh, I kind of remember Draken.
I've heard of
With
this
the cool
game.
graphics, right?
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
That was my biggest note, was that the visuals look really, really cool. The name is cool. I've heard of this game. But everything else about this game and everything else in the collections look boring.
You have nothing to say about Bombazol?
That little thing completely wrote it off.
That didn't terrify you to your core.
The Super Nintendo game,
I
it's like isometric and you were going
Yes.
and I didn't care.
You didn't recoil in fear.
No.
Can I just get this on the record? So you saw Bombazol, and you didn't have any negative. You were indifferent to the horror that is Bombazol.
To me, it just
So you guys can look this up at home. It is spelled Bombuzal, and you will not forget this man. Thing, not a man, not a person. It's the horrible collection of shapes, and I will see him again tonight in my nightmares.
just failed Rayman.
It's
I mean, to me, obviously it's not nice looking, but to me it just was like, oh, it's a failed mascot game.
at one point I walked toward the screen, and I
That's true.
felt my whole body like pucker. You know?
This game the 90s were just full of so many failed, like, mascot franchises.
You know what else the 90s were full of? Early 3D's animation attempts.
Sparkster.
And so we have those two things combined, and that made me write Bombuzal Scary.
Yeah. What is Sparkster?
Sparkster?
Sparky? Sparkster?
Is this a Sega Genesis game?
It's a dog, yeah. It's a little electric dog.
Oh, and then I have no clue.
Sparky. Sparkster.
Sparkster. What you're thinking of is Toe Jam and Earl in Panic on Funkotron.
Yeah. No, someone knows what Sparkster is, if that's what it's called. But we're back.
All right, and we're back to the challenge.
Yep.
Really, game collections this time, nah.
Really elaborate drawing I wrote. This is the one of the one stage. I think 48.
Oh,
there's a
when
bunch
he's
of-
got to loop it twice.
Yeah, the blue
Yes.
burn.
And he's got to be very careful about which blocks he breaks because enemies will fall and he cannot move those enemies, but he might block his own path.
The enemy being just a blue fire.
Yes,
A
the
flame.
blue burn.
Yeah. This is the one that we mentioned in the beginning has the only interesting use of the key mechanic, where you do have to loop twice because the left side of the stage is where you fall down.
It's just a straight
Just straight
shaft.
drop, and the at the bottom of the drop is the door and then the key, meaning you have to fall once, pass the door, grab the key, and then you loop all the way around, and the next time you'll touch the door on the way down.
Right. I thought that was cool.
Pretty cool, yeah.
He
Is on the final stage.
had a brain fart here. I don't want to skip over this. Hold on.
Oh.
He's just the use of the whiteboard, the plotting, the arrows for the
Yeah.
path. He gets up there. He gets the key. He's starting to make his second ascent, and he pauses it and he says, "Sasano, I'm almost out of life."
Yeah.
Which
oh.
what we learn, what he means is there's apparently a timer on these stages, which we didn't know previously because Reno has been killing it so much.
I mean, you could see if you looked,
I
because it's on screen. But I didn't look, and I assume you didn't either. The show didn't point it out.
what I thought maybe it was points or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it is presented in a weird way.
And in these games, early NES games, the points are always like whose line. What the fuck it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly. It's just a relic of arcades.
Don't shame.
Okay, but the timer is presented in a really weird way. It starts at 9,900 and it counts down really fast.
That's how my timer works.
Yeah,
I'll be dead when I lose the 9,000.
when I 9,000 and I 900.
You know what? I have something interesting for you, and it's going to put us so over time that I'm sorry.
What?
So over 9,000. Everyone and their grandma,
I
right?
made a joke about it yesterday.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell this wrong.
Okay.
So the original line. Do you know what the original line was?
8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's like not each country, different cultures have different signifying numbers.
Oh.
You know, how we would say there's a bunch of stuff. Oh, there's a million of them, whatever.
Yeah.
The Japanese might say there's 8,000 of them.
Really?
Yes. There's a really specific term for this that I forgot.
Base 8 number system.
What?
Well, the way that you've heard of like okay, so you know that now most of the human society like operates on a base 10 number system.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, okay.
So, I think there's still a few cultures that use it, but like a lot of old cultures refer to like I know a base 12 number system.
Okay.
I think a lot of like Arabic early civilizations use base 12, but I was just making a joke.
Okay.
8,000.
You threw me for a loop there. I was like, wait, what? Is this about to be a revelation?
But that is interesting. That 8,000 is like a big number like that.
Yeah, and there's some real weird ones too.
Is
for
it just because
different
it's like has
cultures.
a nice shorthand, like million?
I would have to assume so.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just pronounced easily.
I don't know 8,000
I don't blame you.
because I'm dumb.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's not interesting that I'm dumb.
Is that what you had?
Yeah, and so the timer starts at 9,000.
Yeah, I remember that when because I was paying attention when he restarted the level. It was, I mean, it was going down super fast, but I'm pretty sure I saw it say like 9,100.
That specifically.
I mean, that's not what it started at. I just saw that number flash by.
Okay.
Because it counts down really fast.
Oh, okay. So it's probably like 9,999, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This whole thing is much ado about nothing then. But we all learned something fun. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up after this is over. I got to show you that.
Okay.
When he got the time over, that broke my heart because I didn't realize he had extra lives left. I thought he was really going to go
yeah.
all the way back. But then we also
God.
learned that once you collect the key, that door stays open if you die.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't notice
If you
that.
get a game over, you have to collect the key again. But this door stayed open for him.
Cool.
He ascends to the top a second time. He gets into there, and he gets to the final level, where there are some truly dramatic stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is far more action than puzzle in this level.
It's almost no puzzle.
Honestly, of which Areno is infamously NG. You know,
It's literally the entire puzzle is smacking the walls with a stick.
oh, and it doesn't indicate which ones are breakable.
It's
anymore.
Dark Souls secret doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes it a little bit in a few times and dies a few times. He's down to one life, and then this is it. This is it, Jackson. He has to pull this off perfectly. The editing here, what you've been talking about, you know, was really fantastic.
Yeah.
Just spectacular stuff. Really kept me on the edge of my seat. I'm genuinely nervous. I don't remember
Yeah.
how these episodes end mostly. You know?
Yeah. Very even pace the whole way through.
I figure, you know, he would probably die there and have to go back and then get stuck in a loop over and over again until it's just like, you know, time's up. Or he would somehow beat it on this one life. But how is that fucking possible? What are the
Yeah.
fucking odds he's going to get? He hasn't even attempted the second half of the level yet,
Yeah.
you know? Folks, he does it miraculously with amazing, what's the word, focus and skill.
The thing with the fireballs, he did really well.
He did.
Yeah.
For such precise timing, he has to run in right. Oh God, he barely made it too. It was suspenseful. He does it. He gets to the end of the level. He says, "Yosh."
Yeah. Gosh. That's what Dr. Eggman says.
I just went on a whole diatribe about how excited I was about that.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a great moment.
Probably the most exciting episode by far.
Yeah, honestly. We're seeing the ending sequence play out. And Areno, the traumatized man that he has set the controller down and he picks it back up.
Yeah.
Because he has learned from the last two games? Yeah, he has learned his lesson.
Konami YY Party and Metroid.
Yes, YY World.
Or YY World,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's learned his lesson.
But we're referring to the possibility of an escape scene.
Right. Or just that there's more after he puts his
Yeah.
controller down, after he thinks he's beaten the game.
That has an urgency to it.
Right.
But no, it is the ending this time.
Yeah, it is. He completes it 13 hours over 2 days, which is honestly a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I think that he does excel at puzzle games. I think it's just the latter half of not the latter half, the last 10 levels really
Yeah.
are just the difficulty ramps way the fuck up. So
Yeah. And also, I also took into account the fact that he likely didn't play the game over the week that he was absent. Because, like in the Ghosts and Goblins ones, they probably would have made a show out of it.
Right.
So he just...
That kind of shows they have confidence in Reno.
Yeah.
You know, they know when he comes back, he's gonna get it, or it's gonna be close. Whereas with Ghosts and Goblins, he needed that practice. Yeah.
But I was going to say, he probably was also rusty coming back. Probably, had to shave, had to build an hour or two of getting used to the game again.
True. Yeah.
The only other thing I have is that when the ending text come up, which again, every single game has this, and I don't get it. Why is the congratulatory epilogue text? Why is it always in English? These Japanese editions of these games.
It's a sexy language in Japan.
It is, and this is a thing that I noticed earlier in the episode, and here, Reno starts reading the text that comes on screen. He's pretty good at English.
Yeah.
He didn't have much of an accent when he was reading it.
No, Japanese people take English the way we would take Spanish.
I think it's even required in most public schools.
That wouldn't surprise me, actually.
I think at the very least in Tokyo schools, English is a required class.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry they have to learn this language.
It's the language of business.
Japanese makes sense.
Yeah, but
it has rules.
Yeah,
English is a fucking free for all.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed about this episode that I kind of probably should have brought up earlier during the Tamage segment, I realized that just kind of as a cultural thing, most people who are watching this show, and probably just it's assumed that most people who are watching TV are in Tokyo.
Really?
Because they say about this arcade that's in the Chiba Prefecture, they say at the end of it, please visit this arcade that's far away.
Oh, yeah.
And, I have to assume it's far away from Tokyo.
Oh, I wonder if it's just out in the boonies or something.
That could also just be a translation thing.
Yeah.
But that is kind of what I garnered from that. That they just assumed that most people watching that would be from Tokyo, and that's probably a safe assumption. That that city has a huge population.
I don't know, man. So does New York.
But also, I think that what is labeled as Tokyo is a huge area. Mm-hmm. I think it stretches out massively.
Okay, yeah.
Well, but it still is, compared to the entire area of the country, is small.
Right.
But I do think that probably most of the people live in what is the area, either Tokyo or the area around.
Mm-hmm. If we were to visit a game center in Nebraska,
mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be labeled the same way, I guess? What if it's in Omaha?
I don't know, that's tough. But I also think something like that, if we're going to a different state every time, I don't think we'd ever say anything.
True.
Because, the country's also way bigger. And also I was going to say, I don't think the thing that, thinking that most people are in Tokyo is that weird. Because, a little fun fact for you as we round out here at an hour and 23 minutes.
Ooh. We'll get it down.
A majority...
In future, not in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah. I was going to say, you want me to cut stuff out of this?
Yeah, maybe my bit about your friends.
Maybe. A majority of the population of Canada, which is less than the population of the state of California.
Oh, you always blow my fucking mind with
this.
I keep forgetting this.
A majority of the population of Canada is more southern latitude than the big flat kind of border that goes from Michigan to Washington. You know that big flat line at the top of the U.S.?
Yeah.
A majority of it's south of that because of Ontario and Quebec.
That was not the Canada fact I remember.
The part that dips in.
With. Yeah.
Really? Is it the fact that it's less than the population of California?
It was something about population, which I guess could have been either.
Yeah.
Still though, that's fucking
yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what just because Ontario and Quebec are so packed,
right?
That even though you have Vancouver, BC, which is the third biggest city, it still is. I I think that's how Tokyo is
You know what?
in the Tokyo area.
You're right. I was thinking about this through an American lens, where we have New York, we have Seattle, we have LA, we have all sorts of major cities, Orlando. Yeah, I thought that was the Four Corners, I guess.
Those are like the biggest cities, and like maybe like, yeah, I guess that's it. Chicago, I guess.
Yeah, Boston, Philadelphia. It's not the point.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. And so we have a lot of really, really big cities. And I wonder, there's probably a lot of nations that don't. They probably have the one or two. So, yeah, that does make sense. Especially the size of Japan.
Very small.
Yeah, relatively.
Tiny population, too. I think, like, probably less, or maybe, like, less than 10 million.
World's third biggest economy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They make good cars.
This has been...
We both drive Japanese cars.
This has been Nihon Bros.
Is that true?
That we both drive Japanese cars?
You have a Subaru and a
I have a Subaru
Hyundai.
and a Hyundai.
which is
I don't know the Hyundai.
I think they're Korean.
Hyundai might be Korean.
But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us in a culture hour to top off a little
Next episode, Areno plays Prince
of Persia.
Not anything from when they rebooted it and they made it modern, but all the way back when, and it was that weird, out of this world platforming type deal. If you know, you know. It is a two-parter. We don't know how we're going to handle it yet. You'll likely find out after we record it. Thanks for listening.
Hop back in shortly.
That's a good